Welcome back, you hear Goldberg. Today we'll be talking about the Crypto.com debit rewards card. At first glance, I thought it was a credit card, but in fact, it falls in line with if you ever had one of those traditional secured credit cards, like essentially debit card you put up the money for. Although in this case, there's some more features and benefits to be had if you become a member. Now, Crypto.com has been doing a very aggressive and admirable job of competing with Coinbase. They're not nearly as large, but they offer a broader variety of products. One thing that I've tried out recently was staking DAI, and they give you like a 10% PA. It's almost like a savings account, but not as secure, perhaps. Now, you have to be careful because even though they say it's dollar for dollar, the exchange rate is a little bit frilly. So just be aware of that. But it's kind of a cool way to make some extra money if you just got crypto sitting around. So I've actually considered moving the bulk of my stuff from Coinbase over to Crypto.com in order to benefit from that on a passive basis. That being said, let's get into what is this debit card and what does it offer, and should you actually bother applying. I should note, because it's a debit card, because you're fronting the money for it, there's no tap on your credit score. So that's a good thing, although the fact that you have to put up the money makes it not as great as it could be if it was a credit card. So let's take a look. As you can see here, there's different options in terms of what you can go for based upon the amount of money you want to stake. So you see with that CRO stake related to their actual cryptocurrency, $400,000. That will give you 8% in rewards. Now, that is the Obsidian, so I guess the Amex of crypto, or at least Crypto.com. Then you get into 40,000. A little bit more reachable for many of us. That's Frosted Rose, Gold, or Icy White. Then we take a step down to Royal Indigo, Jade Green, 4,000. Definitely more reasonable, but now we're at 3% from 5% for the prior two. And then Ruby Steel, $400, so quite manageable, only 2%. Then you could get Midnight Blue, $0 stake, 1%. So, even though it's advertised at 8%, I don't know how many consumers are really going to be prepared to put forward that amount of money required. As you can see, it's a good deal. Now, if you're using crypto as your primary investment, it's a little bit more reasonable, but otherwise, it's definitely one of those not as great as it sounds type dynamics. On that note, you have to be aware the rewards program's not quite as gravy-like as you might be led to believe, because there are tons of restrictions. So you can check this out on the FAQ page, but various merchants will classify your purchases in a manner that may not be considered eligible for rewards. So you might think, oh, it's just a few, like casinos, and you go down and, oh shoot, it's utility companies in many respects, water utilities, computer software, novelty shops, accounts, funding, financial institution, banks, and it just goes on from there. So it's not quite as liberal as you might assume. Oh, I've just got a regular credit card, gas, groceries is going to apply in most cases. Maybe there's a little bit of variation between a grocery store versus a department store, but otherwise you have to be careful with this card. Other benefits include specific discounts and reimbursements based upon what services you utilize. So we have Spotify, Netflix, Amazon Prime, 100% your monthly subscription fees as an example. Now, Expedia and Airbnb, there are discounts, although as you can see there, Airbnb only applies to the Obsidian card, the pricier one. We have airport lounge access, which has its benefits. Now, that's going to apply starting with the Royal Indigo and Jade Green cards. And then for the top tier ones, you can also bring a guest. You have the use of Crypto.com Private. That's going to include not just OTC services, but also early access to research and reports from Crypto.com, additional bonus rewards, merchandise welcome packs, private jet partnership. So again, just for the Obsidian card. Finally, we have the free ATM withdrawal limits each month. That's going to be 1,000 for the first two tiers, then 800, 400, and 200. If you exceed those limitations, it's a 2% fee. Now, there is some information floating around the internet that if you are not active with the card, making some kind of purchase once in like a year period, you can get charged for inactivity. That's not the end of the world. Just make sure you are utilizing the card, once or twice, and you can evade that problem. As far as whether you should really go for it, I mean, if you're, dead set on crypto, there could be a benefit. I'd be more interested, as I said, in the staking as almost a savings account you can do on crypto.com. That's what I would definitely investigate if you're trying to find a way to generate additional income in a passive sense. The card, it's a nifty idea. It's probably cool. I'd like to have one of them. Just the image is pretty enticing. But otherwise, there are probably better options out there. Just get a standard credit card with a high rewards limit and be responsible. Don't max it out and just fail to pay it off. So that's my thoughts on the Crypto.com debit rewards card.